Welcome to Extraordinary League, an actual play RPG podcast brought to you by Smash Fiction. I'm Dan Mulkerin, your game master. Playing Stitch is Kit Mulkerin.
Aloha, oi! Aloha, oi!
The listeners should know Kit was doing the little wavy-armed hula dance.
That's really pertinent information.
Playing Morden Solus is Colin Mulkerin.
Need dice. No, have dice. Excellent.
Playing Dante Sparta is Liz Logan.
It's really hard being this ridiculously good looking, just saying.
Playing Nico Minoru is Miles Schneiderman.
People like to tell you that everyone dies alone, which is why you never split the party.
So previously, you used the power of musical theater itself to find the location of the Stone of Grace, which is an emerald.
Goddamn right.
Which is an emerald, which is one of 5 magical gems that can bring about the end of Phyrexia. The stone was given as part of a peace offering to Winterfell in centuries past, so after a quick spell from Nico, the 4 of you, along with Geralt, took to the sky on winged horses heading north. The mystically empowered Pegasi, or Pegasuses, proved to be an exceptionally fast means of travel, as you've been able to put miles and miles of Westeros behind you. You've passed over deep green forests, yellow farmland, and watched as cerulean rivers crisscross the landscape, while all the while the King's Road winds its steady way northward. Eventually, though, the green of the forest and fields slowly began to give way to the white of snow, and as you began to feel the edge of an Arctic chill, Nico's enchantment slowly began to wear off, and the Pegasi descended to the ground, their wings vanishing as they touched down. So, you've been on the road for a few days now. You kind of feel the constant pressure of whatever sort of bounties that King's Landing may have set for you after your little debacle, but you've put a good deal of space behind you. So what have you been up to in the past few days as you've been traveling? Have you been keeping to the King's Road and taking advantage of villages and settlements along the way, or are you trying to stay away from prying eyes and camping in the woods?
I think Morden would probably push for wilderness. I don't know if that's what we end up doing, but are other people pushing for city?
I think the intelligent people in the party would probably push for solitude, considering Dante and Stitch are also in the party. And you know they're not going to keep a low profile.
I am disguised as a priest, so presumably I would want to go through cities trying to convert people.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I love how it's always Dante and Stitch on one side and Morden on the other.
I was born to rampage.
I was born to preach.
Yeah, Stitch is programmed to seek out large settlements.
Well, on the one hand, I totally see the advantage of not going into towns and villages that might tell somebody something. On the other hand, I don't know, man. We kind of wiped the floor with the Kingsguard. Not sure there's a whole lot around here that can fuck with us.
Yeah, but even enough ants can take down, say, a large beetle.
I thought you were for going into the town.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I'm not speaking as Stitch right now.
Can we alter our image inducer disguises?
Now there's an idea. There are multiple disguises programmed into those.
Loot Dog forever.
God damn it.
Yeah, I want to start messing with Stitches and see what else it has stored in there for a being of his size.
Loot Dragon.
I was going to say, I'll take off the red cloak and I'll just go full Targaryen.
Oh, jeez.
Never go full
Dude,
Targaryen.
let's do that!
Of course, Dante would make it worse somehow.
I think we should follow the King's Road, and if we run into any towns and villages, we can look differently. If we can look differently than we looked in King's Landing, then I don't see how it's going to be too much of an issue.
All right. So what are your guys' sort of second disguises that you take on then?
I'm definitely going to be a wildling. No, I'm not going to be a wildling.
I was going to say, please don't.
I still want to be a red priest. I like this.
Dante refuses to change his disguise, or maybe he just broke his image inducer, so that's now the only disguise he has.
I want to say my hair grew like an inch, and I'll be like, see, it's totally different, guys.
I'm just imagining him smashing it. Why won't you make me more Targaryen, you piece of shit?
Give me a beard. How about that?
Okay. Well, we did establish that you basically partially broke your image inducer to make your disguise look more like you. So I think that's probably all it's capable of doing.
I mean, you could have just grown a beard.
I know.
I don't know if the image inducer has anything to do with it.
I'm going to say Geralt changes his image inducer to make himself look like a hunter. Stitch, Morden, you guys making any significant adjustments?
I think that his time at doing that play made him gain a certain appreciation for, drag. So I think that Morden is going to also be an attractive young woman, we'll say. I don't know. I don't know if Morden's going to start like getting maybe a little bit vain. Maybe he wants to be well dressed, that kind of thing.
Sure. He's getting
You
in
are
touch with
going
his feminine
to-
side.
Yeah.
You're gonna make me very confused.
In that case, I'm gonna be your dad.
Confusion that you were experiencing during the play is not just an act. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like it's all like, oh wow, I was speaking from the heart. I'm like, I talked to Stitch, and I'm like, wow, I'm so lucky. This actress, she's like going on the road with us now. This is so awesome. This is my chance.
That's amazing.
Stitch just grimaces and doesn't have the heart to say anything.
So, Morden, what does your new disguise look like?
Young, attractive woman who's dressed kind of well. Morden was going through, he was caught between like the nice dress and the unassuming dress. And in the end, he went with the nice dress.
Stitch, are you changing your attire, or is it loot dog till the day you die?
Fucking make me change.
All right, I won't.
Okay, so Colin, what are you turning into? A noble person?
Kind of like a merchant, like a
A merchant? I'm gonna go with like a big, burly, like sworn sword, like sellsword bodyguard type.
I like that a
I
lot.
like it.
Here to protect the merchant and his red priest companion
With a beard.
with a beard.
I like to think that Dante specifies that every single time.
Yep.
Hi, I'm a red priest with a beard, not to be confused with any other red priest without beard that you've seen.
That's just his new catchphrase. Like, hey guys, we should go check that thing out over there with a beard.
So
Can me and my beard get a room here at this inn?
Like, what's your fare for the room? I understand if you charge extra
Yes.
for my beard. My beard will have its own room.
I and my beard.
Can I get a seat in the bearded section of this restaurant? So I'll say that the scene opens in a small village / trading post called White Bark, which is named for the werewood that watches over the village from a nearby squat little hill. Any particular interactions or scenes that you wish to bring up during your presumably brief stay at White Bark?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that we're just sort of like hanging out, killing a couple hours, like on the sort of front porch area of whatever inn or bar we happen to be staying at. And Morden's gonna pull aside Dante to want to talk to him for a sec. Do you mind if I perform an examination on your muscular tissue?
Oh god. Yeah, I can perform. I think I can perform.
Been noticing some potential signs that you might be suffering from muscular deterioration. Wanted to make sure that you were healthy enough to complete mission.
What? Excuse me? But have you seen this? And this begins furiously flexing everywhere.
Morden saying, very impressive. Perhaps I was mistaken. Just wanted to point out, in the last mission we were on, you took rather quickly to killing some of the soldiers that were attacking us. Was that a sign that you were perhaps overwhelmed or unable to resort to a non-lethal option?
Excuse me, but I do not operate on that frequency. I get excited, and that's what I do, because that's what I'm good at.
Well, I just figured that someone of your, of course, very impressive strength would have no trouble dispersing of foes in a non-lethal manner when possible. These people on this plane of existence or planet or world, or I'm not sure of the science of exactly what this is, but are much lesser than us, and we are capable of dispatching them in a non-lethal manner without too much trouble, I would imagine. Are you having issues with this?
Can you demonstrate what you mean by a non-lethal matter?
I'm going to use neural shock on Dante.
Dante, if you wish to roll your resistance to it, you can. But
No,
if you
I'll
really-
take it.
fall over,
I'll
you
take
can.
it.
All right.
I appreciate that, Liz, because you stepped into that one really
Yeah.
neatly.
And I wanted to say something like that.
Over on the other side of the porch, Geralt is sitting by Stitch, and he just looks over to Stitch, sort of like nudges him, gestures toward where Morden and Dante are talking, and he says, "You see that?"
Stitch looks up from inspecting a little caterpillar. He hits it heartily.
He
across the
says,
ground.
"That right there, that's young love. It's a beautiful thing."
Looks up at is that Dante and Morden essentially
Yes.
he's referring to?
Yeah, you see Dante is lying on the ground, twitching and smoking.
Stitch kind of looks up at them and slowly turns his head to look up at Geralt, and then takes Geralt's hand.
He looks momentarily uncomfortable and says, how about a hand of Gwent? How's that sound to you? He pulls out some
I've
cards.
been really trying, baby. Trying to hold back these feelings for so long.
Stitch like snatches that deck of cards out of his hands and then like masterfully builds the most beautiful fucking card tower you've ever seen in your life. And then he fucking destroys it.
Geralt lifts a trembling finger up to his eye and wipes away a single tear.
As they're having their moment, can I just be in the background being like, again?
So, Nico, I'm gonna say you're currently picking up supplies in a nearby like trading post.
I'm intending on either keeping an ear out or just like straight up asking people about if there's any news out of Winterfell.
Okay. You ask the person sort of handing you these bags of trail rations. He looks up at you, his mustache twitching. You're heading to Winterfell?
Yes,
Well,
I am imposing and heading to Winterfell.
no arguments here. What's your business up in Winterfell?
I'm escorting my clients.
Oh, well, you'll be cutting up through the Wolfwood then. Best you be careful. Tight safe these days. They say monsters have awaked and seek the blood of man. An imbalance it is. Ever since the Red Wedding, nothing's been right north of the neck.
Red Wedding?
Oh, aye. Ain't you heard of it?
Not the details.
Killed the king of the North, they say.
So who's ruling at Winterfell now?
The shopkeep shrugs and says, hells if I know. Supposed to go to the Boltons is what I hear, but as far as I know, they haven't made their way north yet.
Wonderful. All right, well, thank you for your assistance.
Good luck to
You're
you.
welcome.
Not you, kid.
You're still welcome.
Everyone, everyone, roll me a psyche check, please.
Yellow.
Okay.
Stitch, no.
Okay.
No.
All right.
White.
Okay, so I got a yellow.
Okay, great. You guys have decided to spend the night at the inn in White Bark. And that night, Nico and Dante, both of you are standing in a field of snow and ice and wind. The air around you is not just cold, it feels like the blade of a knife cutting into you. And you can barely see your breath fogging up in front of your face with how intense the wind-blown snow is. Out in the distance, there's a barely visible dark shape, and you can hear it and feel it calling out in a tone that somehow goes beyond mere words and sounds. It's a tuneless song of dread and also of desire. When the two of you awaken suddenly from this, you find that both of you are covered in a thin layer of frost.
In each of our dreams, were we alone, or was the other one there too?
No, you were only aware of yourselves and the shape you saw out in the snow.
Okay.
My beard is tingling.
That means there's danger.
Or rain is coming. I can't tell yet.
Dante immediately puts his inch-longer hair into a man bun.
Before we depart in the morning, I kind of sidle up to Morden, who is, as far as I can tell, the only sane person besides me in this party, and just in a low voice tell him the dream that I had. And because I don't think it's a coincidence, and I think it means something because black magic.
Yeah, Morden gives you a pat on the shoulder and there, and shrugs and says, just your brain processing your memories for the day and attempting to make sense of them.
You have seen me do magic, right?
I have seen you do
You have
something.
witnessed me do magic.
You may refer to it as magic.
Yes. I woke up covered in frost.
I say someone probably left a window open.
No, they didn't. You're aware that magic's a thing.
I say perhaps my Omni tool accidentally fired off a cryoblast in my sleep.
God. All right, you know what? Never mind. Never mind.
Okay, as we're walking, I'm gonna sidle up to Stitch and be like, man, I think I had this dream about you last night, except for you were kind of smoky looking and you had all this darkness emanating from you, and
Stitch kind of looks down at his own
honestly,
hands, like concerned.
And honestly, I think you were trying to hit on me, and I'm not ready for that yet.
Stitch looks up, kind of blinks at Dante, then pulls out his lute, lute/guitar, and starts playing "Can't Help Falling in Love" by Elvis.
There is a ton of sexual tension in this
Yeah,
episode.
man.
And
In
I look at
places that I
Stitch.
did not think it existed.
I look at Stitch and I'm like, nope, not ready. I run away.
Stitch throws the guitar. Dante, unrequited.
This is very quickly verging into slash fiction, as we all knew it would eventually. I'm curious as to what the horse riding situation is, because you guys have 4 horses and there's 5 of you. So who's doubled up with who?
I imagine Stitch is on someone's back.
Stitch with someone.
Stitch, yeah, I mean, he probably switches it up.
Okay.
I think he chills the most with Dante, but then sometimes they get into their little like bitch fights.
Yes.
You think I'm
Which we just had.
Yes.
Yeah, we have like
So-
the best relationship.
So who's your number 2 right now?
Probably Nico. I think he gets along with women pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And also Morden like has in the past been a shady scientist to him.
Yes, very much so.
But I think at the moment, good terms.
So you've ridden your horses into the Wolf's Wood. The ride is actually rather pleasant for the most part. The air in here is crisp and cool. The ground is covered in snow, which crunches under the hooves of your horses. The trees of brown and black and gray bark stretch up, extending their branches in a canopy overhead. I'm going to guess at this point that Morden probably has the DDC.
That sounds probably right.
really? Because my assumption would be at this point that Stitch has it somehow.
Morden had it the last time he checked.
Yeah. So Morden.
Let me roll for it. Let me see
Okay,
if I
all right.
saw it.
Yeah, sure. Stitch, why don't you make an agility roll, and Morden, you can make an intuition with perception roll.
That's a yellow.
Green.
Okay. So Stitch, you pull the DDC out of Morden's bag very stealthily. Just as you do so, it starts to beep. And
Puts it in his mouth and then runs. he very quickly gets tired of running. Not tired because he's like exhausted, just like, okay, I'm bored now. And takes it out of his mouth, looks at it, and starts booping it.
okay. Make a reason check, Stitch.
Reason's not terrible. Green.
Okay. You think that the DDC has identified some anomalous dimensional energies in the area. Similar to extraction points, but less stable and predictable. It's possible that something has passed between dimensions here, although whether something left this world or arrived in this world, you can't really tell.
He's gonna kind of run back close enough to everyone that they can see him kind of trying to wave them down. Hey, guys.
Morden's going to have that moment where you thought someone was on one side of you, and then you realize they're on the other, and he's like, yep, and he'll stop his horse and hop off.
He holds up the DTC and he just says, something came through here. Don't know what.
I say, well, how about you hand it over to one of us then, and let someone take a look who's had more time to study it.
Stitch throws it hard. like a softball, but not a softball.
Yeah. I'm going to say it whacks Morden in the face. All right, so yeah, Morden's going to pick it up and look at it, and then he's going to reach a hand behind his back and flip a switch, and his force field's going to turn on, just in case for the future. Can Morden figure anything out looking at it?
Yeah, you can give me a reason check.
Okay. Green.
Okay. You can't really figure out anything more than Stitch did. You come to the same conclusions that he did, though. The problem is, it seems as though it's been a while since this crossover happened. So it's kind of impossible to tell like what exactly happened. If something else were to happen of that nature in your area, you'd be able to pinpoint it now that you know what to look for. But in terms of like what triggered the DDC, it's a little too old to tell.
Okay.
Stitch just kind of looks up at Morden and asks, enemy or cousin?
He says, those are the two types that people come in, are they?
Yes. Or four.
And then he looks down at him. He says, "So you and I, we are cousins."
Yeah. Ohana.
Aw, that's so cute.
For now. He kind of does
Fucking
the like
disgusting.
narrow eyes, like, you know, the two fingers pointing at his eyes and back at Morden's and back at his.
Yeah. Morden's gonna give him a little scratch behind the ears
Oh.
for like half a second, and then pull his hand away.
Aw, this is too much, guys.
Oh, we're like all kinds of bonding in this episode.
you travel for some time until the sun begins to dip below the horizon, which you can't see from inside the forest. So the shadows of the forest grow long and inky, and the sounds of birdsong die away rather ominously. It isn't long before every one of you gets the very distinct sensation of being watched. Go ahead and give me intuition perception checks for everyone.
Oh, fuck.
Green.
Okay.
White.
Okay.
I rolled 99, motherfucker.
Nice.
Damn.
I see 99 things. And none of them can sneak
But-
on me.
But a cousin ain't one. I got a yellow.
Okay, cool. Everyone except for Morden. Morden is still fiddling with the DDC, but the rest of you notice dark shapes moving silently between the surrounding trees, occasionally turning yellow eyes toward all of you. Before too long, it's clear that these creatures are wolves, and there is a frankly incredible number of them closing in. Like probably more than 100. Just as you catch sight of a castle lit by amber torchlight up through the trees ahead, the wolves make their move, and snarling and growling, they begin to pour out of the trees and close like a noose around you. What do all of you do?
Would you say that, in your opinion, there's a light in the darkness?
Man, Miles, you keep on returning to some of these songs over and over.
I
on the podcast.
can't help myself.
What have we done? What have we opened? Pandora's box that is Miles' voice box.
So what do you all do?
Stitch snarls and isn't he gonna let no wolf jump his ass? He gonna jump?
So Morden says to Dante, remember that thing I was saying about non-lethal tactics? You can forget that.
Oh, yes!
All right, so are we looking to fight? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
These
All
wolves
Well,
wanna
I mean,
go.
we're not looking to, but
right, well, let's roll initiative then.
9.
Morden,
14.
Dante,
11.
and Nico.
7.
And Liz, if you want to roll for Geralt, you may do so.
I rolled a 5.
Okay, so he gets a 7. Okay, Morden, you are up first. In your immediate vicinity, there are 9 wolves closing in. And you can see that there's a whole bunch more all around you.
Is it possible, is there a cluster that's close enough that I can shoot and incinerate that will explode and hit multiple ones?
Yeah, I'll say you can target up to 3 at a time with Incinerate.
Cool. All right, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to, and hopefully, this will like maybe start some sort of fire, some sort of thing to keep them back. I'm hoping they're afraid.
Whoa,
of fire.
whoa! We didn't start the fire.
No, I did. I did. That was me.
No, it was always burning.
No, I started it.
How could you start when it's been burning since the world's been turning?
I'm glad we're outdoors because otherwise the roof would be on fire.
Red.
Hey, there you go.
Fire. The color of a wolf on fire.
Yeah. Oh, those wolves are not rolling well. They are basically blown backward in miniature flaming, smoking comets. They sort of disappear into the larger mass of wolves around the perimeter. Yeah, you've taken out 3 of them. Dante, you were up next.
And an amazing strength of feet because I want to impress my new
Amazing
lady
strength
friend.
of feet.
I mean, whatever. A new.
That's what you call your drop
No,
kick.
no.
Dante has the
When's
the last
strongest
time-
feet.
When's the last time you watched Robin Hood Men in Tights, Liz?
An amazing feat of strength to impress my new lady friend. I want to take my sword and chop down a tree and separate us from the wolves.
Oh, nice. Cool. Roll me your strength of feet.
Dude, chop down that tree with your foot. Fucking pow.
Green.
All right. Yeah, so Dante, you find the largest tree nearby and in a single swing of your sword, cleave it from the trunk, sending the entirety of it basically toppling over in between your party and the wolves. So you guys actually currently have a clear shot to the castle that you can see in the distance, or you can take this opportunity to start raining down attacks on the wolves at range. Stitch, it is your turn.
Did I hear that everything is burning now? Or is that just my wishful thinking?
No, the forest is too covered in snow to
I see.
be in danger of
Right,
of
okay.
actually erupting into a forest fire. You
Okay.
did see the wolves on fire, but you
Oh,
know.
good. Okay. Stitch is gonna take some inspiration from that, and I'm gonna do my cone attack with the lute guitar. Mario.
Okay.
He's gonna pull it off his back and blast like a fuck ton of wolves by playing Elvis's Burning Love.
Oh, nice. So yeah, this little amp appears in front of you, and as you start shredding, visible waves of sound begin to erupt from it. I believe we said that your guitar playing skills were based on agility.
Yes.
So go for it.
Oh no, just short.
Well,
I think I fuck up a lot of this forest, but no wolves.
yep. Just like burr, burr, burr. It's not you're not quite hitting those power chords.
Some of the strings break.
Yeah, there you go. Nico, it is your turn.
I'm gonna say wolf repellent.
Okay, do you have something in mind that will happen? Please.
I'm hoping for some kind of smell, or like like aniseed kind of.
Okay.
But like the opposite, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something that really bothers them.
So is it going to start like raining wolf urine from the sky?
Oh no.
I mean, it's entirely possible.
All right, roll your psyche, Nico.
That is a green.
Okay. All of you suddenly wrinkle up your nose as a very pungent smell begins to emanate from all of you. The wolves, some of whom are starting to scramble over the fallen tree, suddenly seem to be reconsidering their path as they snarl and growl, but don't seem super willing to approach you right this very second. It is Geralt's turn, if you wish to have him act, Liz.
I just want to use R to push the wolves off the tree.
Oh, cool. So he's going to have to roll his psyche for that.
Green.
Cool. So with a wave of his hand, there's a wave of force that erupts and flies through the air, knocking the wolves off of the tree. I'm going to make a psyche roll for the wolves now to see if they can overcome their distaste for the smell coming off of all of you. Oh man,
fuck.
They are powering through this. I'm going to say they're still kind of thrown off by the smell, but not so much that they aren't willing to attack. But it's basically going to take them their whole turn to get to a place where they can attack you, given that they have this tree in their way and they've been knocked off of it. So again, if you wish to run because you have the repellent on you, you will have a bonus. But again, you are welcome to stay and fight from relative cover if that's what you'd prefer to do.
I think we should go.
Run!
Yet.
Morden, it is your turn.
You mentioned earlier there was a bit of an opening that we created. Morden's going to go through that opening and kind of be leading, jogging, turning back and shooting occasionally to kind of provide some suppressive fire, but overall start moving for the castle.
Okay, and just to be clear, you guys are still on your horses. So you're not on foot or anything.
Oh, okay. Yes. That then.
Okay, cool. So Morden's running. I take it. Does everyone else want to run? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Because Stitch begins to pick up a tree to swing at a wolf, and then realize people are leaving, and I was like, oh, kind of disappointedly puts it back down.
Okay. Stitch, are you running or are you jumping on a horse?
He's probably jumping on a horse.
Which horse are you jumping on?
Whoever the last horse is, because he was last.
I'll say it's Nico because Nico had the lowest initiative.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys are running through the woods. The trees are whizzing by you, and you can hear the sounds of the wolf pack beginning to give pursuit once they've managed to get over and around the fallen tree. You can see that up ahead there's a frozen stream which stretches across your path. So it's kind of up to you as to how you want to deal with it. You know, you can try to look for a safe way to cross. You can just try to, press your luck and run across it. You can try to jump your horse. If you have an ability or a power that you want to use, that's an option as well.
Do we have any way of telling how stable the ice is right now?
That is an option you could do, which would be a reason check to find a spot of thick ice that you think could support the weight of you and your horse. So I'll go through you guys one by one in initiative order. So Morden is up first. How would you like to proceed across the stream?
Toward the river.
Is it going to is it going to take my turn to do the reason check?
It'll be your turn to find the path and then cross it, basically.
Morden's just going to cryoblast the river and then go across it.
Oh, interesting. So you're trying to reinforce the ice with more of your own.
Yes, I'm just going to drop the temperature and just make a nice frozen solid area that we can cross.
I like that. That's a good idea. Why don't you roll me your cryoblast, but you can get a +2 column shift to that.
Just pay the ferryman. It's not worth losing half our supplies.
I really want to do a spell right now that just say caulk the wagons and float.
I got a yellow.
Okay, so Morden directs his Omni tool, and a thick sheet of ice forms on top of the frozen stream. Morden is able to get across safely. Dante, how would you like to do this?
Can people just follow me across on the path that I took?
That is an option, yes, but it will still require a check on their part to spot the thicker ice.
So that's too easy for Dante.
Of course.
He's going to jump off the horse, send the horse down Morden's
Throw
path.
the horse over the river.
No. He's gonna,
and then grab onto its mane once it's in the air. And
while combing my beard. He's going to jump off the horse, send the horse down Morden's path, and then he's going to, like, flourish his coat, do, like, a 180 flip in the air, corkscrewing. I don't know how that would work, but it's going to happen. And then he's going to land right where the stream starts and slide across it. So he's, like, distributing his weight, you know? So that's his method for getting across, and he's going to slide across it, and then...
That's so unnecessary. I love it.
And then hopefully there'll be like a little embankment and he'll kind of be thrown into the air a little bit and do another thing and just land.
Sure. Dante,
horse.
why don't you give me an agility check plus acrobatics?
Yellow.
Excellent. Yeah, I kind of wish you were on your horse so that the horse could be flipping and corkscrewing with you as well. But as it stands, you cut a fine shape in the dark night over Winterfell as you spring and Power Rangers yourself across this particular obstacle. So,
wait. What do we know Morden as right now in his lady form? Like he Miss Morden now?
I don't know. Do we have alternate names?
Mordana Le Fay?
Mordana.
Okay, Mordana, that's it. I just want to be like, Mordana, did you see that?
I love how flexible, by the way, Dante's sexuality is proving in this game.
Dude, he does not know that is Morden.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna say maybe Megan Bob was onto something.
I think so. Yep.
I think she was.
All right.
I think we should have won that match, is what I think, because Megan Bob was totally right on.
Well, we're all entitled to our wrong opinions. Stitch, so you're riding on the back of Nico's horse. Is there anything that you want to do to contribute to this at the moment?
Be dope as fuck. He's gonna use the inertia of this horse running and leap off of it midair. He's gonna put his loot beneath himself so that he lands and boards across the frozen water.
Okay.
Also known as ice. That is frozen water.
Well,
Oh my god.
I can honestly say I've never had a group test the limits of my ability to bullshit the 80s Marvel system in the way that you guys have. I think that's agility, is what I'm gonna say.
Is there a
do you have a skill in guitar surfing? Would that be guitar boarding? Loot boarding.
I did it to a dinosaur. This is easier.
Yeah, give me agility, Stitch.
All right.
I even gave you the option of just staying on the horse and hanging out, but you had to do some loot boarding.
The fans don't want that shit.
No, absolutely not.
Watch me fuck up. All right. Yep.
All right.
That is so white.
So Stitch is like, "Don't worry, guys, I got this," and immediately like jumps off of Nico's horse and falls directly through the ice.
Yeah. Well, I think his problem was that he thought he could land like softly.
Yep. No.
That sweet
like a
move.
Cannonball, basically.
Into the water.
His biggest problem.
Fuck, he's in the water.
Yep.
His biggest problem was that he thought he could be as cool as me.
What happens when Stitch gets wet?
He has too much mass. He sinks.
He can't float.
He rapidly sinks. Yeah.
It is Nico's turn. What are you doing, Nico? You still have to get past the ice, and also you just saw Stitch fall into the frozen river.
Okay, so here's my idea.
All right.
I'm gonna cast a spell on Stitch
I'm listening.
called Ice Float. So the idea is to basically make Stitch float as opposed to sink. At which point I will step on Stitch to get over the use Stitch as a stepping stone to get over the water.
Device.
Yes.
Okay.
I got a yellow.
Okay, great. Yeah, so exactly as you say. Stitch, basically ice forms around you, and you end up, floating back to the surface, and then all of a sudden, Nico's horse just like jumps on you and jumps off. So you're still floating in the frozen
But
stream.
he's like bobbing.
yeah, in a little like ice life jacket, basically. Liz, it is Geralt's turn. How is he getting across the river? And also he sees that Stitch is floating there, so.
Well, Geralt, being the good guy that he is, has to run over and help Stitch out of the water.
And how's he getting across the stream?
Does Morden need to use the laser pointer feature on his Omni tool to like say, this is the area that I just froze and made really solid, and we could like drive a car over it right now?
You know what I want to do? I want to use art again and see if I can just blow Stitch out of the river.
Interesting. Okay, and how is Geralt getting across?
He will follow Mordana's laser pointer.
Okay, so I will say you can do one of those two things automatically. So Geralt can either cross the river safely and have a chance of not extracting Stitch, or he can extract Stitch safely and have a chance of not crossing the river.
Fuck that, he's crossing the river first.
Okay, so have him make
It's like the airplane thing. You put on your mask first,
Of
then
course,
you help
of
the
course.
helpless children.
So have him make a psyche check to see if he can angle Ard in such a way that he blows Stitch out of the river and onto the bank on the far side.
That's a big fat nope.
Great. So basically what Geralt ends up doing is he misjudges the angle of his spell. The ice around Stitch breaks, and Stitch begins to float further down the river, still floating on top. But now more of the river is broken up, so Stitch is, Stitch is just sort of floating haplessly.
Are his arms free?
I imagined that the ice flow spell has kind of encased you partially in ice, so you'll have to make a strength.
Sorry, dude.
So you'll have to make a strength check if you want to free your arms.
Okay, I'll strength.
Okay,
At least 2 arms, yeah.
sure.
Wait, was he upstream or downstream of the cryo bridge?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you can free your arms, you can grab onto the cryo bridge.
That's what I was planning on.
Okay,
doing.
there
I was
you
planning on
go.
grabbing some ice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so make a strength
Like
check.
you do. That's yellow.
Excellently done. Stitch manages to crack the ice and reaches up with one of his tiny claws to grab onto Morden's cryo bridge and pull himself up, shivering and dripping with water and covered in ice. So as you all approach the outer wall of the castle up ahead of you, you can see there are forms moving excitedly around on the battlements, and you hear someone cry out, "Riders, open the Hunter's Gate!" You see crossbow bolts begin to fly above your heads, which you realize is actually providing covering fire and forcing the wolves back, who had begun to pursue you across the frozen stream.
I'm going to say that Morden's also going to, if it's cool with you, toss and incinerate at the river to melt the ice again.
Oh, that's a very good idea. Go ahead, roll your incinerate for me. See how
to like cover our escape, you know.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, yellow.
You basically no-scope it, sending off a fireball into your cryo bridge, which basically shatters it into pieces and sends more than a few wolves paddling to pull themselves up out of the freezing river. You all duck beneath the rising bars of the portcullis as you enter within the walls of the keep. Although those of you who turn and look at the forest behind you, you can see that amongst the immense wolf pack is one wolf of tremendous size, perhaps as large as a horse, which regards you all with gold eyes as the drawbridge rises and cuts you off from them. You're all standing in a long penned-in area just within the gate of the castle. Nearby are a line of narrow kennels. It looks like this was probably where hunting dogs would have been kept, although none are in sight at the moment. In addition to the crossbow-wielding figures which you saw atop the battlements above you, there are about a half dozen ill-dressed men, some wearing fragments of patchwork armor, all of whom are carrying weapons which range from poor quality swords to actual pitchforks. You notice that none of them make a move to put up their weapons as they regard you suspiciously, although you also notice that several of them are trying to stay a distance away from you and maybe waving their hands in front of their faces as you realize you guys still kind of stink
Stitch
from the spell.
Stitch walks to like the center of everyone and then does the dog shake.
So one of the people, an older man of kind of broad stature, steps forward and he recoils as Stitch throws freezing river water on him. What in the name of the seven brought you out into the Wolfswood at night?
what is this 7, man? I'm a red priest, and my hair is white,
And
and I have a beard.
the older man nods very slowly at you and says, "I can see that. It doesn't quite answer my question."
And I was paid a lot to get the merchant here, paid more to get the red priest here, and paid even more to get the red priest's beard here, so I can't really tell you.
We ran into some trouble on the road. We were setting up camp, but detected some suspicious characters and decided it would be best to just keep moving through the night rather than remain on the road. Didn't want to get jumped or robbed or whatever you people say.
Certainly not jumped.
So those of you who have spoken to them, which is Dante, Nico, and Morden, you guys make a psyche roll for me with a bonus for persuasion.
Looking at a white.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. That's a white.
Dante?
I didn't even say anything useful. I got a green.
So basically, they're looking rather suspiciously at Nico and Morden, but Dante, for some reason, has totally won them over. And
It's that beard.
their general attitude is just like, well, they may not be telling the truth, but they're probably not up to anything that would get us in trouble. So,
Oh my god, you're right. It is the beard. There's northerners.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is where you turn your life around, Dante. Like, this is where you really redefine your life course. So the old man sort of waves his hand towards the other ones, and they reluctantly lower or stow their weapons. He takes a step forward and he just says, I'm Andon Lake. We all used to live in the winter town just outside of Winterfell, but, well, then the town got sacked when all of us were out of town, and by the time we returned, it was basically reduced to ruins, but the castle was more or less whole, so we decided to stay here until we could figure out something else to do. I take it you probably need some place to stay for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Are you in charge?
He looks around. Everyone else sort of avoids his eye contact, looks back at you, shrugs, and says, I suppose so. We don't really have anyone in charge.
Well, yeah, we need some shelter. I was hoping... Do you know where, you would store some sort of valuable and like
I think yeah,
a
I'm
winter
going to-
safe in winter caves, maybe in a winter castle?
I'm going to
you know?
push him aside and say that some rooms would be nice. My friend is growing a bit delirious from the cold.
It's like, do you have anything any place where you might store some kind of, I don't know, rock of balance, maybe?
That brings people great winter happiness.
Well, 7, no, we have more than enough rooms to spare for you, so you can come and have a meal if you want. We have some extra venison and nuts that you can help yourselves to.
Morden looks to Dante to see if he's going to let the nuts joke slide.
I was gonna make a joke, and I was like, well, Mordana doesn't want any of your nuts.
Yeah, I
She
know.
only
I have a
eats
beard.
mine.
Yeah.
I'm above such things.
She got D's. Yeah, I don't even have to finish
She got
that.
these nuts.
So yeah, you guys all head to the Great Hall of Winterfell, which is a rather depressing place at the moment because it's largely empty and lit only by a few torches, which only shed illumination on a few isolated points. But as you eat some rather tasteless meat and bowls of nuts, Andon is sitting near you and is sort of just asking about, what brings you up north, where you're headed to ultimately, just sort of trying to get a sense as to, what you guys are up to.
Yeah, I should have come up with the story for what we were doing. That was.
You came up with all that great stuff for the play, and now for this, you just got nothing.
I mean, if I had to write a play about some people that were traveling up north, I could come up with a great reason why.
Well, let us tell you why you are here in song.
Meanwhile, Stitch is we're in a hall.
Yeah, like a large hall with a bunch of benches and tables and such.
He's gonna wander around underneath people's tables and their feet and stuff and sniffing around. I don't know how much you hear my doggy sniff noises.
Oh, that was great. You picked it up.
And he's gonna come across oh, someone's super warm looking fur coat cape thing, and he's gonna shred a little bit of that off and sneak off a bit of fur for himself to keep himself warm because he's still so cold.
Okay.
After that dip.
Andon looks at Stitch as he's walking around on two legs and tears off a section of a discarded furry cloak. That's a unusual animal you've come across. Well, I suppose there's a story there. And he looks at you kind of hopefully.
He was a trained circus animal.
Well then, I suppose that explains the instrument on his back.
Yes, we are a group of refugees. We were in a town that was hit. We don't really have plans for the moment. We were just seeking somewhere safe for a few days.
Huh. Well, once you're done, I could show you 2 rooms if you like.
So this is the Great Hall, is it?
This is it. As great as it is right now, anyway.
I say, yeah, it's an okay hall, I suppose. So what happened to the previous owners exactly? Who attacked them?
Well, that's a story. The previous lord of this place was killed when he went south to uphold his own honor. His son decided to take up his cause, got himself killed, and in the meantime, a young lad who we thought was loyal to us turned out not to be so much. And, well, I don't know the whole details, but needless to say, the desires of much more powerful men fell upon this place pretty hard, and this is what is left.
Could we get a tour?
He shrugs and says, I suppose. I don't know much about what this place was used for beforehand, but I know a few locations. I suppose I could show it to you if you're curious.
Castling.
Castling?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sometimes you need to get that king behind the pawns, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the greatest game ever.
Well, I mean, it's okay. It's strategically speaking, it leaves a little something to be desired. It's pretty good. So after you guys have finished eating, Andon takes you on a little tour around Winterfell. Are you guys looking out for anything in particular?
Yeah, what did our literature that we found tell us about the Stone of Grace? Just that it was given to Winterfell and that's about it?
Yeah, I mean, from what you sort of know about this, it would probably be kept in like a treasury of some kind.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just keep our eyes open as we get the tour and anything that sort of fits that description. But
okay. Yeah, so as you're going through the keep, Andon is leading you down a hallway, and you see that there's a large reinforced metal door, which has clearly been broken down by a battering ram. That's about the most secured location that you're seeing on this little tour.
Does he know what was behind that door?
Are you asking him?
Yeah.
He stops in his tour, looks at it and sighs, and he says, well, as far as I know, that was the castle treasury. Just after the Boltons came and went, some of us was hiding in the woods, caught sight of some wildlings marked with the sign of the dragon, enter the keep. They came out a few hours later, carrying gold and jewels, all manner of niceties, taking it for tribute for their queen, most like.
Their queen, where would she be?
He looks at you and says, well, you haven't heard.
No.
Well, I suppose it's all rumors, but the people are saying that the Mother of Dragons has returned to Westeros, somewhere north of the Wall, and she's been sending the wildlings up there over the Wall somehow. They've been heading south, looking for towns they can raid, tribute they can bring back. Some people say that they've gotten as far south as King's Landing.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, well, good to know.
He looks at you and he says, you're not planning on heading further north, are you?
No, just, of course, wanting to know where the troublesome areas are so that we can stay clear of them.
He nods sagely and says, that's a very wise course for you to take. Anyway, moving on. He begins moving down the hallway again. You've gotten a tour of Winterfell. You have a pretty good idea as to what the layout of it is. But unfortunately, it looks as though the Stone of Grace has already been taken from this place.
Do we know that for certain? I mean, you just said that, but yeah.
You can certainly give it a further look if you would like, but the treasury is currently empty. Like
right.
the wildlings basically came and went.
I mean, what I would just want to do is, I guess, after nightfall, when the tour is over, pop in the treasury and look around for any clues that we can find.
Yeah, sure. Why don't you give me a reason check, Morden?
I got a green.
Okay. Morden, you don't find anything in the treasury. You maybe find, a few scattered coins that whoever raided this place didn't see fit to pick up and take with them. What you do find, though, is a ledger kept in the maester's chamber nearby. And this actually accounts for everything which was in the treasury. Amidst the tiny scrawled lines of the ledger, you do find an entry for the Stone of Grace. So you don't necessarily know that the wildlings took it, but you know it was in the treasury.
Yeah. Okay. And there's nothing else of value or any other clues in the treasury?
Again, there's like a few scattered coins. There might be like an occasional jeweled goblet that they didn't pick up for whatever reason. But there's certainly nothing that would present itself as something that would be valuable for your particular goal.
Yeah. I might grab a valuable item or two and just stash them away in my bag, just in case we need to barter later on. You never know.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. So I'm assuming that you guys are probably heading for bed at this point?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
What do people wear to bed here in this?
What do they wear to bed?
Yeah, is it like, do they wear nightgowns?
Probably a nightgown would be my
Certainly
guess.
not feety pajamas, unfortunately.
What's with this line of questioning for you tonight, kid?
No, Stitch is gonna find himself like a child's nightgown. 'Cause he wants to get...
It probably belonged to like Bran or something.
Yeah.
Or Rickon. I'll go to bed.
You're gonna get comfy.
Are each of you staying in different rooms, or are some of you doubling up? What's the situation?
What do they offer us?
My own room.
Like, there's more than enough rooms here in Winterfell that each of you and everyone who's staying here can have your own separate room if you wanted.
Morden would probably advocate for sleeping in the same room as other people and like taking shifts and that kind of thing, even in these circumstances, just because he's kind of paranoid, I think.
Okay, so Morden is advocating for everyone sleeping in the same room.
Yeah.
Nico apparently wants her own room.
And he doesn't really have issues with, personal space being, it seems most of the time, largely asexual, so.
Sure. Stitch and Dante, do you guys have any strong opinions on what you want the sleeping arrangements to be?
Well, when Nico goes to bed, she finds Stitch in it.
Okay.
So someone has a partner,
know.
but they like it or not.
You don't want to know what mine was. I'll just take.
Well,
my
I
own.
kind of do.
I'm pretty sure Dante sleeps in the nude.
Well, I wasn't asking about like what you're wearing. I was asking about like if you're
I
sleeping
mean-
with in a room with anyone else, or if you're choosing your own room.
Well, Dante sleeps in the nude, so everyone's making him sleep by himself.
Well, I mean, Mordana did want shifts, and
Yeah. I don't think that Morden has totally picked up on Dante's very obvious passes, because I think his brain is just rejecting that reality and completely.
Okay, this is what happens. I go in the room. I'm totally naked. I open there's gonna be a window, and there's gonna be moonlight coming through the window, and I have my one arm propped up, and the moon is reflecting off my extremely muscled bum.
I've been really trying.
None of that
baby.
answers my question, which I think is largely appropriate. So, all right. So
clearly, wait.
Mordana walks in.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that Morden and Dante are sharing a room for completely different reasons. And
Yes.
Nico and Stitch are sharing. Is that what I'm hearing? All right. I'm going to say that Geralt manages to find one of the few females in this compound and decides he needs himself a new card and is going to take a room for himself and his new friend.
Seems funny. Yeah,
all right,
so I think that Morden is going to come in and see Dante naked, think absolutely nothing of it. Like, yeah, he's a doctor.
Like, that's Dante.
Oh, that Dante. And then just like say, I suppose you're taking the first shift then? Yeah, and then Morden would say, very well, and just like undo the dress that he's wearing and throw it on the ground and just hop in bed and pull up the covers.
Oh boy. All right. So that night, after you all go to bed, the camera shifts to Andon
There's
carrying
a camera in a podcast?
Absolutely. The camera shifts to Andon carrying a torch. He leaves the keep and heads for the crypt of Winterfell. He travels through darkened halls lined with the stone forms of kings of ages past until eventually his torchlight touches the sides of one of the sarcophaguses in particular. As he draws closer, however, he sees that the lid of the box has been slid off and now lies propped up on the ground. Before he can react, a figure directly behind him says, "It is well past sundown, Lake. I was expecting you earlier." Andon yelps in surprise. He drops his torch, but he quickly whirls around and drops into a quivering, kneeling position on the floor. And he says, "Forgive me, my lord, but the castle has had visitors." And the figure responds, "I know. I could sense them approach." Andon says, "They intend to leave in the morning, my lord. They plan to head north." And the figure in darkness responds thoughtfully, "No, I don't think they will be doing that." And that's game.
Extraordinary League is produced by Miles Schneiderman, with logo design by Colin Mulkerin.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for our theme song, which is called Motherload. You can find his works at www.incompetech.com.
You can follow the Smash Fiction Podcast on Twitter at SmashFicPodcast and search for us on Facebook and Tumblr.
Subscribe on iTunes, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
So, the most conspicuous member of the party, a dog that carries a loot.
See, what could I turn into? Another animal that carries another fucking string instrument? What is the
Loot wolf. Something else.
like
Loot.
fucking harp cat? What do you want me to
I like
weird.
harp cat.
That's-
What's wrong with harp cat?
How about Sitar Shetland Pony?
Maybe Banjo Ferret?
Oh my god, I kind of want to, but I'm not.